Call the regular Ridgway Town Council meeting of December 2022 to order and ask for a roll call vote, please.
Council members Gramley,
Here.
Kroger,
Here.
Lakin, here, Schuyler,
Here.
Thomas,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Meyer,
Here.
Mayor Clark.
Here. All right, welcome everybody. Welcome, Bo. Welcome in. Yeah, we've got a good agenda tonight, so we'll get rolling. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Yes, sir. There are 3 that I'd like to request. First is a resolution. It's resolution number 22-12, amending the standard specification and approval drawings for infrastructure construction. The second item is a letter of support for Bruin Waste Management's RREO grant application that they plan to submit to CDPHE. The third item is a letter of support for Ridgway Chautauqua Society's application for Region 10's Enterprise Zone tax credits.
Okay. We will add those to the bottom of the policy matters section, I assume. Ask you and Pam to remind me when we get there. We'll do. Anything else? Pam, anything?
No.
Yes. All right, that takes us to the adoption of the consent calendar. Items that are regularly on the agendas are typically all adopted under one motion, unless anybody sees anything other they want to pull off, just deal with separately. If not, I'll ask for a motion. So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Russ, seconded by Beth. Since we have 2 councilors remote, we probably need to do roll call votes.
Council members Gramley,
Aye.
Kroger,
Aye.
Lakin, Schuyler,
Aye.
Thomas,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Meyer.
Aye. All right, thanks, everybody. That brings us to public comments. Establish time for the public to address the council regarding any item not otherwise listed on the agenda. If we have our former mayor in the room, please address us on the topic. Welcome to that.
Hi. I am at Willetts, 820 Sabeda Drive, Ridgway, Colorado. I'm here to ask if there is a plan in place to bring the space to create buildings outdoor lighting on Clinton Street into compliance with the town lighting ordinance.
Okay. You're not the only one.
Is there a plan in place?
It's in the works. It's a long story. The building inspector signed off on those. The developer Artspace is working on a plan to put them on a combination dimmer and switch so that we can turn them off at times. But at this point, there's no plan to replace them. Preston and I have talked about it, and we're still of the mind that we might want to do that at some point because they are not full cutoff. So yes, it's in discussion and it hasn't been fully resolved yet, but it's being worked on.
Do you see do you see in the future a resolution? Do you see?
I do.
Then I guess I won't belabor just expressing my displeasure with how gross and ugly it is. And
You're talking about the lights under the balcony in front of
those fluorescent tubes that are visible from a block away.
Which, just so you know, Pat, like, as we say that we're working on it, that's a discussion this council has brought up that they're awful. And we know that. And so
Okay.
the problem is that the building inspector signed off. They supposedly met the requirements. So now we're dealing with it on a, hey, can we just fix this because they're really bad level.
The building inspector obviously made a mistake.
Yes, is the word.
Well, that's what anyway, I think what I'm trying to say is you have the sympathies of this council in saying
Uh-huh.
they're awful and we need to continue to work towards a resolution that's not
Okay.
a problem for the neighborhood.
Okay. Are we,
agreement.
Yes. Yeah.
okay, are we a month away from solving it, or are we 6 months away, or is it,
I can't, it's not 6 months. I can't promise it'll get resolved in a month.
okay,
It won't be 6 months.
thanks.
That'd be my guess would be it won't be 6 months. Thanks.
Can I ask, I mean, I haven't been part of the conversation. What is holding it up? Is it a replacement, the entire fixtures?
Yeah, jump in.
Yeah, go ahead.
The holdup was, getting a contract in place with Stryker. Art Space is contracting with Stryker to install a switch so that, they have the ability to turn those lights off, separate from all the other lights, and then install a dimmer. As the Mayor was saying, take issue with the fixtures in general. Want to be careful in pointing blame at the building inspector for signing off on those lights. I think something might have gotten lost, or it might have been a simple oversight. We haven't been able to pinpoint that. So please and thank you there. But at the end of the day, I think we're several weeks away from.
I hope it's more than a dimmer and a switch. Right? I mean,
No, it's exactly what I just said. It's the installation of a switch to ensure that we can just turn those lights off.
that's happening sooner.
For a short-term solution, while as Mayor Clark was saying, we work with Art Space to figure out a remedy for the fixture in general, both of those fixtures. So, but they did indicate that they plan to install dimmers, which is great, but not the crux of the issue. So to answer your question that you had posed, I'm thinking several weeks. I know that's general, but that's what we're looking at.
At least it's, thanks, I'm glad it's, on your purview.
You're not the first one that's. Well, you are.
I'm glad I'm not the first one.
Yeah. You'd be concerned if you were, I understand that, yeah. Anybody else have a public comment? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to public hearings. We have a series of them tonight. First one is item number 5, application for restaurant liquor license applicant for the Level Food LLC, shareholders Chris Lee and Taryn Lee, doing business as Bella Vino in the Old Drake's building, 220 South Lena. Seeing as they're not here, Pam, are you handling that for them?
I am.
Okay.
So I'm presenting the application for the restaurant liquor license as stated. Chris and Taryn Lee, who are an LLC for the Love of Food, are opening a premise at 220 South Lena Street, and the trade name is Bella Vino. They currently held a liquor license in Uray as the Bonton. This public hearing is being held as part of state law requires local jurisdictions to hold a public hearing whenever a new license is issued. I've also posted and published notice, and the premises are posted, and all requirements of the licensed application have been met. State law does allow concurrent review on applications, and that application has been sent to the state. They've already gone through their process and they've already approved it at their level. If they hadn't, we would have been able to ask the council tonight for permission to give a temporary operating permit, but that will only be necessary until that license is received in the mail.
Okay. Does anybody have questions for Pam on this item? I think it's pretty much a no-brainer. Definitely welcoming those guys to Ridgway. So I want to make a motion.
I move to approve the application for a hotel restaurant liquor license for the Love of Food LLC, sole members Chris and Taryn Lee, doing business as Bella.
Mayor, did you?
Seconded.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
My mistake. Yeah. Thank you, Preston. As this is a public hearing, we have to open up for public comment and then deliberate. So is there anyone either on Zoom or in the room here that would like to comment on this? Raise your hand on Zoom, or if you don't know how to do that, just unmute yourself and go ahead. twice. Seeing none, I will close the public comment section of the public hearing and bring it back up here for deliberation. Anybody have any questions? Again, I'll ask. If not, then I think we're ready for the motion.
I'm looking forward to it. The new restaurant.
I move to approve the application for a hotel restaurant liquor license for the Love of Food LLC, sole members Chris and Taryn Lee, doing business as Bellavino.
Second it.
Russ beats you to it, scratchy voice.
I keep trying, I keep failing.
That's all right. Thanks. Motion made and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Council members Bramley,
Aye.
Kruger,
Hi,
Lakin,
Aye.
Skylar,
Aye.
Thomas,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Meyer.
Aye. All right, that passes unanimously. Thank you. And Polly, seriously, if you sound like you're really not feeling very well, you don't have to be on. If you'd rather go lie down, I wouldn't blame you. So just let us know if that's what you're going to do.
thank you. I may take you up on that here in a little bit. I think I got the flu or whatever the twins had last week, so thank you.
All right, well, feel better. All right, that takes us to our second public hearing. Item number 6, an application for rezoning. We actually have 2 in a row here. First, the rezoning for Solar Ranches filing number 2C lot 110A, address 2BD, Sabeta Drive, general commercial, applicant Michael Glenn Wilson and Susan Wilson, trustees for the Wilson Living Trust, owner of Wilson Living Trust. Is TJ taking this? Welcome, TJ.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Preston, would you be able to allow me to share my screen? I can go through
There you
a little presentation. Can you all hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
There we go. All right. All right, so thank you, Mayor. As you mentioned, we have two requests, one project and that we're going to be talking about. And I would recommend that we hear both of them at the same time, discuss them both at the same time, and then hold a hearing for both of them at the same time. And then we can make 2 separate motions at the end if I see Bo in the chair there. So if he agrees with that, that would be my recommendation in processing this.
We got the thumbs up from both, so that's
Cool.
what.
Excellent. Well, then I will just go through my little spiel here. So there he goes. As I apologize, I should have deleted that. What we have is Wilson subdivision. It's for rezoning and a plat amendment. It is generally located east of and adjacent to Sabeta Drive. We'll get into more details. So here's the general process for this evening. We'll start with the staff report, and then I know the applicant is, I believe that Mike is in the audience and Sue is online, so there'll be an opportunity for the applicant presentation. Then it is public hearing, so we'll open it up for public hearing, close public hearing for council discussion, and then motion and vote. So just a little bit of background. As mentioned, the owners are Michael and Susan Wilson. They're the trustees. I guess the actual owners are Wilson Living Trust. There's a legal description. It is Solar Ranches subdivision that was then re-subdivided into these lots 110 A, B, and C. And we'll get into that a little bit. In 2001, there it is, just a couple slides down.
TJ,
Yep.
Would you put that in presentation mode for us so we can see it?
Sure, sorry. Sometimes, okay, bear with me. Sometimes with the Zoom, it doesn't work so well. Let's see. Okay. Actually, it's working good. You guys can see that better? Sorry about that.
That's better, thanks.
Okay. So here's the property. It's at the corner there of Sabeta Drive, kind of that southeast corner. And that red line actually just below where it says property right here is actually the town limits. And then the town park fields, soccer fields are over here just to the east. So, as I said, it was replatted. So the original lot was platted as lot 110. And then it was re-subdivided into lots 110 A, B, and C in 2001. The current property owners purchased it in this last February and purchased lots 110A and 110B. So that's the green highlighted areas there. One of the existing conditions of this is that lot 110A is zoned GC, general commercial, while lot 110B is zoned R, low density residential. So we have a little bit of a discrepancy between the zone districts there, which is where one of the requests is coming from. So the requests, there are actually 3 general requests, but one being the variances is a planning commission action only. And planning commission, we'll get a little bit into this later on, but on October 25th, the planning commission considered all of these items and approved the 2 variances for lot widths with conditions that town council approved these other items, so that we're tying all of them together. And then the other requests then that are on the docket for this evening are rezoning from general commercial to R, and that's for lot 110A, the existing legal description. And then once the order of these operations is important to make sure that we're keeping a clean chain of title. And then after the rezoning, if so approved, we would amend the plat to adjust the property lines. And we'll get into each of those items here in a little bit, but the order of operations for this evening might be a little bit important. So just again, kind of by background, this is the existing lot layout, the existing subdivision, the solid lines. And the request for variances was to reduce the lot frontage in the R zone. 50-foot frontage is required, and they're not able to meet that minimum requirement, and they don't exist in compliance today for much of the reasons that it's on the cul-de-sac and whatnot. So it was an existing non-conforming lot frontage, and we're through the variance process trying to bring it into compliance with that variance. And so those were the items that were reviewed and approved by the Planning Commission back in October. The applicant has submitted all the application materials, the hearing notice, final plat, site plan, necessary documents, and the public hearing was notified in accordance with the Ridgway Municipal Code. And to date, we have not received any comments for or against the requests that I'm aware of. So again, just to kind of summarize the 2 requests that we're looking at, one is to rezone lot 110B from GC to R, that you can see here. And the second is to approve an amended plat for Wilson Solar Branch subdivision. And you can see the red line is the current property line, the green is the proposed. So that just clarifies, at least tries to depict what we're looking to do, and we'll get into the details of why and the analysis here. So first, compliance with the comprehensive plan. This area is identified as single-family neighborhoods. It requires a density of 2 to 8 units per acre. These 2 lots have a little bit less density, but they're consistent with the neighborhood. 2 residential lots on the 1.15 acres, my apologies. So we do find that it's consistent with the master plan and that it's consistent with the neighborhood character and consistent with the adjacent properties. The land uses, the current land use is single-family home. It does have a non-conforming shed and driveway locations, and I'll show you those in just a minute. The other lot, which is lot 110A, is vacant. And then as mentioned, there is existing non-conforming lot widths for both lots. The proposed use, nothing is being proposed to change at this time. These requests create 2 legal lots with no non-conformities. And that's essentially the rationale and the reasoning for that. The owners could sell the newly formed lot 110A1 if they chose, and the future builder, the future buyer could build a home on that lot, consistent with the zoning regulations. At this time, the applicant, the owners do not have any plans to do so, but they want to leave their options open. The main purpose of this request is to bring the property into compliance with both the shed location and a driveway. Talk a little bit about that under, I believe, access and utilities. So this is just a table of the dimensional standards based on the proposed 2 lots. The only 2 that are not in conformance with the underlying zone district are the minimum lot widths for both lots. But as I mentioned, those were approved for variances in October. So they are in compliance, provided everything is approved concurrently. So access, this is an interesting or important part of the rationale and staff's recommendation in the for the variance is that currently access is given to or provided on Sabetta Drive for both lots. However, we recommended that there be a note 9 be placed on the plat, limiting access to only lot 110B2. So where the current driveway cut is. And this way, at least they're reduced lot widths, but they function as one. And there's not 2 access points or 2 driveways accessing the cul-de-sac there. So this was part of the variance request, and you'll see it on the, it's a note on the plat that we'll get to as well. So that's the access. There's also an easement located on the plat to allow that legal access across lot 110B2 to lot 110A1. As far as utilities, there's no proposed changes to the utilities at this time. All existing buildings have utility connections, and there's stubs out for the future lot for when that comes in. They will need to pay their applicable fees and building permit applications and things to get any kind of construction or improvements on the new lot 110A1, sorry. Okay, so Planning Commission at their regular meeting on October 25th, they did hear all 3 of these requests. And actually they had 4 requests with 2 variances. And so they recommended approval of the rezoning with this condition that town council approves the subdivision. They also approved the 2 variances, as I mentioned. Again, that the council approved the rezoning and the amended plat. And then the amended plat was recommended for approval with these 2 conditions, one being the updated, that the attorney certificate be updated to include exceptions included in the title commitment, and the council approved this rezoning request. So essentially what that is just tying them all together so that if any one of these 4 requests is denied, the whole package is. So that was the functionality in the comment, the conditions. And as we kind of alluded to, but staff's recommendation is consistent with what we did with the Planning Commission, and we are recommending town council approve all of these requests or both of these requests with the conditions that we have. In the staff report, we did provide alternative motions if needed or if desired. So that's those. And then I wanted to kind of finish, and sorry, I thought this was an earlier slide. But you can see with this is the existing conditions. And I don't know if you can see my mouse or not. But the line that, sorry, you can?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the existing property line between the 2 lots, and you can see the shed for lot 110B is on lot 110A, and much of the driveway is on lot 110A for lot 110B. So the purpose of this is to move the property line further to the north to allow compliance with both the shed and the driveway, so that if desired, lot 110A1, the new one, could be sold and it would be a compliant lot. So that's the rationale for the request. So again, just in summary, the first request is to rezone. Well, actually, that's 110A1. My apologies, from GC to R. And yeah, so this is yeah, rezone lot 110A from GC to R. And there's the alternate motion. And then again, here's the proposed plat amendment for the subdivision. And then here's the recommended motion. We can go back to that. But with that, that's all that I had in the presentation. I know that was quick. So if there's any questions or comments, I'd be happy to answer them. And as I mentioned, the applicant I know is in the audience as well. So with that, I'll turn it on over.
Great, thanks, TJ. Mike, do you or Sue have anything you want to add?
We didn't come prepared for a presentation on this. We came to support you guys. And if you have any additional questions, I'll answer.
Okay, great, thank you. Then I will ask anyone up here on council has questions for staff or the applicants on what they've just seen.
Seems pretty simple.
Yep, it's a good cleanup. Honestly, I'd forgotten completely that we had rezoned for that. To GC for that, yeah.
Holistic Health Center.
Holistic health center back, way back when. So I think this is a good cleanup. All right, I will open it up for public comment. Anyone have any comment either on Zoom or in the room? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing section of the public comment section of the hearing and bring it back up here for debate. As TJ so clearly laid out, we have to have we can discuss the package as a whole, and then we need two different motions for the first rezoning and then the replat.
I don't see any reason to not approve the rezone or the amended plat motions as written, not the alternatives.
Yeah, this looks like another instance of cleaning up something that's already occurred.
Yep. Yeah, I think we're all in agreement there.
Okay, so I'll move to approve the request to rezone lot 110A, amended plat of lot 110. Solar Ranches filing number 2 from general commercial district to low density single family district. Finding the criteria set forth in section 7322A1 of the Ridgway Municipal Code have been met with the following condition. The Wilson subdivision amended plat is approved by town council.
I'll second that.
All right, motion made by Russ, seconded by Beth. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Bradley,
Aye.
Kroger,
Aye.
Lakin, Skylar,
Aye.
Thomas,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Meyer.
Aye.
Thank you. That passes unanimously, which takes us to the amended plat for Wilson subdivision.
So I move to approve the Wilson Solar Ranch subdivision, finding the criteria set forth in section 745 and 7410 of the Ridgway Municipal Code have been met with the following conditions. 1, update the attorney's certificate to include exceptions included in the title commitment. 2, the Ridgway Town Council approves the Wilson subdivision rezoning variance request to reduce the minimum lot.
Second.
All right, motion made by Russ, seconded by Terry. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Bradley,
Oh,
Do you want me to hold off? My wife's raised her hand there.
Sue, did you?
I'm sorry to interrupt, but my question is, what, I believe that the motion should be made without the condition that the town council approves the Wilson subdivision rezoning and variance request, both on this one and the other one, because that's what you're doing right now, TJ. I'm sorry I didn't notice that before. But really, the only condition should be to update the attorney certificate. Isn't that correct?
Because we've already approved the rezoning. I think that's probably true, but it's probably a redundancy that's not necessarily a problem. What do you think? Well,
Okay, perfect. As long as I'm fine with that. Thank you.
Great catch by Ms. Wilson, but I don't think that it matters with respect to the redundancy.
Okay.
Although if I may, Mayor, just real quick, this is a copy and paste error. The town council does not approve the variance request, so that can be a friendly amendment to the motion if the motioner and the second agree with that.
Agreed. Yeah, I was wondering about that too.
Second agrees as well.
All right, so that changed, let the record show that Russ, as the person who made the motion, and Terry as the seconder, agreed to remove the variance request. The rezoning's already been approved, so that's a moot point, but the variance request was approved at council, at planning commission, sorry. So I think we can go forward. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Graham,
Aye.
Kroger,
I,
Bacon, Skylar,
Aye.
Thomas,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Meyer.
Aye. Great, thank you. That passes unanimously. All right, so that takes care of that item. And that brings us to item number 8, which is adoption. This is a whole bunch of motions and resolutions. Adoption of 2023 fiscal year budget and setting the property tax and fees for 2023 through approval of resolutions. Bam.
Another year.
Another year.
So we are presenting tonight pursuant to the town charter, adoption of the 2023 fiscal year budget, which was originally posted and published on October 13th, along with the public hearing as well. Council had numerous meetings through the year to look at the draft budgets, the 5 and 10-year capital improvement plans. The council also held a retreat and workshop, and this meeting tonight is to approve and adopt the budget and establish the 2023 mill levy. There are 3 resolutions before the council tonight that need to be adopted. One will be to adopt the budget, and the document is attached to that resolution. The second is to appropriate expenditures within all of the funds. And then the last is adopting the property tax mill levy, which will be certified to Ridgway County tomorrow. That is to meet state statute. And then later in the agenda, the council will look at adoption of the 5-year capital improvement plan, 10-year capital improvement plan, and the 2023 strategic plan. So if there's any questions.
Anybody have any questions for Pam here?
Another
I don't have a,
Okay. Go ahead.
I was just going to say another Herculean effort, Pam.
I was going to say, not a question, but thank you so much for all of your hard work. I know it's not been an easy thing, and you are appreciated.
He's a pro. All right, I'll open it up for public comment. Anybody in the audience have anything? Comment, question? Raise your hand if you do. We're down to just the press in the room, so not seeing any hands on Zoom, so I will close the public hearing, public comment section of the hearing, and move on to adoption of resolutions.
Should we do all 3 at once or one at a time, or how do you? How's that work?
One at a time.
One at a time.
I'll do number 1, move to adopt resolution number 2209 in the town of Ridgway, adopting the budget for the calendar year beginning on the first day of January 2023 and ending on the last day of December 2023.
Second.
All right, motion made by Terry, seconded by Kevin. Roll call vote, please.
Council members Graham,
Aye.
Kroger,
Aye.
Bacon. Aye. Skylar.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Meyer.
Aye.
Thank you. That passes unanimously. Next up is resolution number 22-10.
So I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number 22-10 of the town of Ridgway, appropriating sums of money to the various funds in the amount and for the purposes set forth below for the 2023 budget year.
Second.
Motion made by Russ, seconded by Beth. Roll call vote, please.
Council members Graham-Lee.
Aye.
Kroger.
Aye.
Bacon. Aye. Skylar.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Meyer.
Aye.
Thank you very much. It's amazing how all that work and these very simple resolutions get it formalized. Last one is up now, resolution number 22-11. I move
Motion to adopt resolution number 22-11 of the town of Ridgway, adopting the property tax levy for the year 2023 for certification to the Array County Commissioners.
second. All right, motion made by Terry, seconded by Russ. Roll call vote, please.
Council members Graham-Lee.
Aye.
Kroger.
Aye.
Bacon. Aye. Skylar.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Meyer.
Aye.
Thank you very much. That passes unanimously as well. That takes us to the 5 and 10-year capital improvement plans. Council's being asked to review and adopt these CIPs.
Before the council are two documents. One is the 5-year capital improvement plan. The other is the 10-year capital improvement plan. Council has worked with these documents. The 5-year capital improvement plan is highlighted with yellow for the items that have been included into the 2023 budget. If there's any questions? There have been no changes since the last time council worked with this document.
Well, I probably, just to be more official about this, I'm going to open up separate public comment section for these capital improvement plans, since they're being dealt with independently. So if anybody online has any comments or questions about the CIPs, please put your hand up or go ahead and unmute and fire away. All right, hearing none, I'm going to close the public comment section of this hearing and bring back up here for action.
Just a quick update, just a FYI, I've had 2 meetings with DOLA regarding the application for a grant for the microgrid for the Space to Create building, and they're very excited about that. The grant application has to come through SMPA, supported by the town. And it looks like it only requires a 33% match. So probably with the federal funding available for the ITC and the DOLA grant, it may only require, $10,000 out of pocket by the town to fund that microgrid.
That's awesome. That's great news. Thanks, Terry. Okay, so someone want to make a motion on can we adopt these both at the same time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I move to adopt the 2023 5 and 10-year capital improvement plans.
Seconded.
Sorry, Polly.
No, I did it before her on the Zoom. Dang it.
Motion made by Kevin, seconded by Beth. Roll call vote, please.
Was close.
Graham-Lee.
Aye.
Kroger.
Aye.
Bacon. Aye. Skylar.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Meyer.
Aye.
Thank you. That passes unanimously. That lastly takes us to the strategic plan. We've been previously presented with a draft and we were asked to review and make changes if necessary, and now we're ready to adopt. I don't know if anybody has any last minute changes they'd like to suggest. Now's the time to do so if you do. Comments, questions from council?
So if we have strategic initiatives here that are not reflected in our 5-year, would that be a matter of something that we would look at for the year following, or?
Is there a specific item you're talking about? All these items don't have to be, aren't necessarily tied to the capital improvement
Okay,
plan
Okay.
document.
fair enough. No, there's just, I think, through some earlier conversations I had with a council member, there's some opportunities that are headed this way, I think. And they're documented here in the strategic initiatives. Are not necessarily on our hip parade. They're there, but they're not highlighted in yellow. So I was just trying to understand that connection. So
Yeah, again, some of these items in the strategic plan don't have monetary values associated with them, like some are, research and explore. So again, without understanding which items you're talking about, the capital improvements you see highlighted in yellow and have line items associated with them are ones that are planned for 2023. All of them, I'm 100% sure, 99.9% sure they're addressed somewhere in the strategic plan.
sure,
Not everything on the strategic plan is identified by the capital.
exactly. Okay. Okay.
All right, anyone else have any questions or comments? If not, I'll open it up to the public to comment or ask questions about the strategic plan, the 2023 strategic plan.
Just don't quote me on the 99%.
All right, seeing none, I'll close the public comment section of this hearing and bring it back up here for a motion.
I motion to adopt the 2023 strategic plan.
Second,
All right, thanks, Polly. Motion
Got it.
Seconded by JT, roll call vote.
Councilmembers Graham,
Aye.
Kroger,
Aye.
Bacon,
Aye.
Skylar,
Aye.
Thomas,
aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Meyer.
5.
All right, passed unanimously. And as I look back at the agenda, I see that the capital improvement plans and the strategic plan didn't require public comment, so my mistake there, but I always give people plenty of opportunity to give us feedback, so I did that once again. So we've already dealt with the first two items on the policy matters, number 9 and 10. That takes us to item number 11, the review and approval of the memorandum of understanding between Erie County and the town of Ridgway regarding 2023 operational funding requests, road and bridge apportionment from county to town and future goals. Question.
Thank you, Mayor. That was pretty much the spiel. That was pretty much it up before you is an updated memorandum of understanding between the town and county. It lays out operational funding requests for the fiscal year. In this case is 2023, the road and bridge apportionment from the county to the town, and a whole set of goals from the town's side and the county side, shared goals to pursue. The memorandum of understanding for 2023 looks a lot like the one for 2022. There have been a few adjustments this year. There were a lot of scheduling issues that prevented this from being taken up earlier. I think in 2020, or I guess for the 2022 MOU and the 2021 MOU, I think it was September, maybe October, that the county commissioners were in the room, and there was some really good discussion pinpointing this. Again, there's some scheduling issues that didn't take place. But I did talk with Connie Hunt a number of times in getting this going. And I do believe the county commissioners have seen this and provided input. I don't recall for sure. I think that's the case. I see Jake Meese on the Zoom if you'd like to chime in. There are a few items I want to highlight on the 2023 MOU because I think they're big deals. One is a shared goal to collaborate and implement the Erie County Workforce Transportation Project, which received the grant I guess midsummer, probably July. And so that's a big deal, and working with Ridgway County on furthering that and getting that ready to go, I think in April or May. I'm 99.9% sure of that. And the other one is a shared goal of working together on the county's master planning process, which is a big deal for them. So I wanted to highlight those goals.
Thanks, Kristen. Jake, do you have anything you want to add?
No, nothing substantial to add. No.
Okay, thanks. Okay, anybody on council have any questions or comments on this?
Do we have a plan on how we're representing towns being represented for the county master plan? Is it staff? Is it council? Is it a combination of the above?
That's a good question. I have received a request from county planning staff to participate. I mean, I received an email inviting me to, I think it's a planning commission meeting. I think I shared that with you, John. I don't know if you received one, John, but generally the town will be represented and participate in the process. Again, I got a specific invitation. Not sure that you received that request, but I can reach out to see if there's going to be more structure or formality to participation.
Yeah, it seemed like that thing you forwarded to me was asking if we could pick a date almost to do it somewhat of a joint meeting. Is what my recollection is.
That wasn't my understanding, and I may have just misunderstood it. And I think they were just looking to pick our brain and get some input as it related to how it went with the town when we undertook our master planning process in 2019. But I'll double check on that.
Okay. Yeah, I had the same question. Knowing that it's just getting rolling, I think we need to have somewhat of a seat at the table. So, if you're looking at that.
Yeah, I'm curious what the mechanism was.
And JC's is on the line.
Yeah, I can add there. We just hit the go button on this. And so there, the planning commission has had one meeting, and we'll probably have a couple more. Those are all open to the public, but that's really pre-formal kickoff. And then once the formal kickoff happens, there are going to be multiple community-wide public meetings where, of course, anyone from the town can participate. But then if at any point in the process, as things are kind of crystallizing down, if the town wishes to send a unified message or make desires, then doing that in the form of a letter would work. Or you can reach out to Connie and request a work session with the commissioners. So really all doors are open.
Cool, thank you.
Thanks, Jake. Well, did you? No. Okay. Yeah, I think we'll kind of have to just keep our ear to the ground as it moves forward. And I guess I would encourage anybody on council that might want us to do a formal letter of with any sort of positions or statements we'd like to ask of the county, we could do that. But I don't necessarily personally see the need to do that at this point. So back to the MOU. I can't remember if I asked the public if they have any comments. So anybody on Zoom have any comments or questions about this county MOU? County town? I think I asked Jake, but I didn't ask everybody else. So I don't see any hands. Bring it back up here for deliberation. What say you all? Looks about like a moment. Yeah. Pretty straightforward. Yep. I guess I would just throw out that I think it's once again, it's awesome that we have such a great relationship with the county, and that we lay out all these various details of where we're going to collaborate and what the county wants out of the deal and what we want out of the deal. I think it's a great testament to the hard work that's been done over the years to make sure that we have a good relationship with each other, and it's really good to see everyone.
So I move to approve the memorandum of understanding between Ridgway County and the town of Ridgway. Regarding the 2023 operational funding request for the bridge portion from county to town and future goals.
Second. All right, thanks. Motion made by Russ, second by Kevin. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Graham,
Aye.
Kroger,
Hi.
Lakin, Skylar,
Aye.
Thomas,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Meyer.
Aye.
All right, thank you. That passes unanimously. That brings us to item number 12, review and approval of the amended and restated declaration of covenants, conditions, and restrictions for the Ridgway USA development. This one's got your name.
Thank you, Mayor. So the town received a draft of the amended declaration of covenants for the Ridgway USA development. The prior version of the covenants had town approval and signed off. So I think rightfully so, this amended version does as well. As indicated in my memo, that's pretty rare that a town will approve covenants. Notwithstanding the fact that we receive copies of those when we go through a development process, but the town does not have a burden or an obligation to enforce restrictive covenants. Nevertheless, I've had an opportunity to review the proposed amendment, and I don't have any concerns with what's being proposed, noting that a lot of the kind of conditions just refer to general town conditions if it comes into play, i.e. the town lighting code or things of that nature.
Okay, thanks. I assume everybody's had a chance to go over this. As usual, has a lot of legalese, but based on our town attorney's comments about it, I think seems pretty straightforward. Anybody have any questions for Bob?
Just to make sure I'm clear, Ridgway USA is which development is this?
The other side of the highway.
Yeah, just the other side of where like Remax and the surrounding area there.
Okay. This is not Vista Park, it's just that.
Vista Park is part of Ridgway USA.
Okay.
All the lots have been there originally. They've had a number of names over the years, but Ridgway USA is the most recent name. Ridgway Land
Well,
Company is.
It's been the name for a long time.
Yeah.
That whole property, but then pieces have been sliced off and subdivided, but
Right.
they're still contained in Ridgway USA. I can't remember what their first name was, but that lasted like 1 year.
Ridgway Village.
There's East side.
Well, it's the east side subdivision. Anyway.
Anyways, yeah. Way
Okay.
too far, way too old.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
I'm talking the 80s and 90s.
Okay, just making sure I have the right piece of property.
Yeah. Other side of that.
I'm sorry. Just to further clarify, all of the condos, the apartments, the new townhomes going in, and the empty field by the Remax building, all of that is technically considered Ridgway USA. I just want to make sure that I'm all the way understanding.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, there's a breakdown of the lots on page 26, 27. There's not a plat that's included, but we could get it to you. But there's some 34 lots and then some outlots in addition to that.
Thank you.
You know, lot 3 is the big one with the Remax on one corner of it. Lot 34 and then some outlots. Any comments online in the Zoom audience? Comments, questions about this item? I'm seeing none. I'll bring back up here for us to decide what to do.
I guess I'm confused on exactly what this is requesting overall.
So it's specifically requesting that the town acknowledges and approves the amendment to the CCNRs.
Okay.
Which is rare and, I mean, frankly, kind of weird. And so.
So that's one of the things that I would direct is if the council does approve, we get back to them and say, hey, look, any future amendments, we don't want to have town approval. Because our code, as you guys know, obviously our code controls, so.
Typically, municipalities aren't interested in being required or being asked to enforce CCNRs because it's just it can be a legal quagmire. So as it says in the cover letter, these covenants are somewhat unique as they ask for approval from the town of Ridgway in order for them to be adopted. So that's why this is in front of us, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
It doesn't, I guess the thing that might be a question for us is, we don't have like a redlined version of what the things are. But
No, I mean, I don't. I just went through with a broad brush and said, okay, like what is the effect for the town generally?
yeah, there's nothing in here that's going to adversely affect us. And in general, as I said before, because municipalities don't usually enforce CCNRs, it shouldn't be an issue. So clear as mud.
Is it something we need to approve anyway?
I think we should as a courtesy, just because I think that they're looking at us because they had that prior requirement for town approval when it was adopted. So I think the message should be, frankly, my recommendation would be you approve it, but you say like moving forward, it doesn't come back to the town for approval. Yeah.
Do we want to make that an actual condition of it?
I think it would be great, to be honest with you. Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah. Yeah, it just, it all seems kind of weird.
It is very unusual.
I agree with Russ. That seems weird that we're being asked to be involved.
So I would entertain a motion to approve the amended and restated declaration of covenants of Ridgway SA with the stated condition that in the future, the town not be asked to approve any future amendments or restatements of their CCNRs.
So moved. Well stated, John.
I thought I addressed this.
That was easy.
We just need a second.
Give us a chance.
Okay, motion made by Russ, seconded by JT. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Scrambley,
Aye.
Kroger,
I
Reagan,
Aye.
Skylar,
Aye.
Thomas,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Meyer.
Aye.
Thank you very much. That passes unanimously. That takes us to number 13, review and action on agreement for legal services with our attorney, Bo James Merlin, PC.
So thank you, Mayor. I'm on an annual contract with the town, and so bringing this back for you guys. Certainly would like to continue to serve. It's at a one-year basis. The only change is there's not a change to the billing rate, but there's a change to the structure in that traditionally I've not charged for the attendance of one meeting per month. And Preston and I discussed it, and we're proposing a 1 hour, $100 rate up to 3 hours maximum as the change. So it'd be like if it's a 5-hour meeting, it would be a cap of $300.
Okay. So instead of attending one meeting at no charge per month, we'll get paid.
I will get paid.
Minimum of $300.
No, up to maximum.
Maximum of $300.
Yeah.
If it's only an hour, it's a
charge.
Okay. So, I for one really appreciate what you've done for town Ridgway, Bo, and would like to keep serving as our attorney. Anybody on council have any questions about the contract in front of us? Hearing none, I'll ask if anybody on Zoom has any comments or questions. You could shove your hand out of the screen. You seeing nothing? Bring it back up here for a motion.
I move to approve the professional service agreement between the town of Ridgway, Colorado and Bo James Northern PC.
Second.
All right, motion made by Russ, second by Kevin. All our roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Graham,
Aye.
Kroger,
Aye.
Lakin. Skylar.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Meyer.
Aye.
All right, very much. That passes unanimously.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Bill. Item number 14 is consideration of appointment to the Home Trust of Uray County Board of Directors. Preston, this is Andrew Sokolowski, the Director of the Home Trust.
That's right. I don't really have to say much. The request is for the town to consider appointing someone on the to the Home Trust of Uray County Board of Directors. I haven't answered any questions, and Andrea, I think, was planning to be here. I don't see her on Zoom.
Just a little update. Andrea, the Home Trust was just awarded a $10,000 grant from SMPA yesterday in the Board of Directors meeting.
That's
And
exciting.
just sharing this grant.
I saw it closed on the property next to the Taco Del Mar building, Silver Sand One building. Exciting. I think the Home Trust has been doing great work. Definitely get things done. And I think it's a good idea for one of us to serve on the Board of Directors. I don't know if anybody wants to volunteer. I would love to do it, but I have so many commitments. There's always a voice in the back of my head saying, "Don't."
And it would be nice to have Andrea here to talk to time commitment and elements.
That was going to be my question.
Jake Neese is on the call, and I don't know if he's still on the board, but he did serve on the board. Jake, do you mind on that?
Yeah, I am back on the board. The only part of the issue with that was just that I started with the board of the Home Trust before I became a commissioner. So I wasn't appointed by the BOCC as a representative of the BOCC. So as most of you probably know, I resigned at one point, and then I was formally reappointed or formally recommended by the BOCC back onto the Home Trust, just for that little piece of bureaucratic history. And the Home Trust board is set up with 9 people, and it's split up into 1/3, with 1/3 of the representatives being from local governments. That works out really nicely because we have 3 local governments. We've got Josh Smith, who is our representative from the city of Uray, and then me from the county. And so we are looking for a representative from the town.
Can you speak to the time commitment, Jake? When do they meet? How often and so forth?
The time commitment is 1 meeting per month. I'll have to run and look at my calendar. We just changed the board meeting dates, but it's one hour and a half meeting per month, which we are now we're doing in the evenings. Sorry, excuse me. Got to flip through my calendar here. On the first Wednesday of each month at 5:30 p.m. from 5:30 to 7 is the time commitment, and then there are optional other commitments that you could choose to take on. It's still a fairly working board, but different board members take on different levels of responsibility. The key thing is we just want to have input from all 3 governments, since all 3 governments have contributed financially. So we want them to see that their funds are being used responsibly and give input on the direction of policy.
And I'm sorry, you said first Wednesday of the month?
That is correct. 5:30 to 7.
Great, thank you. Anybody else have questions for Jake or general comments, questions about the quest? Want to volunteer?
Is nobody else volunteering? Is that what I'm gathering?
I think everybody's sitting on their hands a little, Terry. What do you think?
Well, I'm kind of like you. I've got multiple commitments, but I'm interested in the whole home trust concept. So if
And it doesn't have to be a town council member necessarily. It can be a staff member, but elected representatives are good to have on board.
No, well, then I volunteer Preston then.
Not volunteer president.
What we could do is we could,
I'm interested, I need to think on it a little
Yeah,
bit more before I can like volunteer right now.
why don't we say that we will definitely appoint someone, but that we're not prepared to do it tonight. I think everybody needs some time to think about it, and I'm totally supportive of this, that I don't want anybody taking away the message that we're not supportive. We just we're all very busy and we need to all kind of think about what our bandwidth is for this, and want to get somebody to commit to it that can really commit. So I think we need a little time for that. I guess I just asked staff, Preston, get a hold of Andrea and let her know that we're 1000% supportive of everything Home Trust is doing, and we'd love to get somebody appointed from the town of Ridgway that this will be forthcoming.
That sounds good. And maybe in the meantime, we can commit, or staff can commit to attending the meetings to keep a pulse. If that's even okay with the Home Trust Board, but just in an effort to be courteous there. But I will let Andrea know. She'll probably be walking.
Okay, great. Yeah, Jake, your meetings are public, right?
That's correct. So I'm making a note here to send an invitation for the next meeting to either Preston, or I could send it up to all the town council members, and then any and all of you could attend. If you want to just take a look and listen to one of the meetings. We also often have a Zoom option, even though we do try to prioritize in-person meeting.
Okay, great.
Jake, when is that next meeting?
That next meeting is January 4th. That's a Wednesday from 5:30 to 7 p.m. And we meet at Mojo's Coffee in Uray.
Thank you.
Why don't you send your invite to Preston and he'll forward it to the rest of us?
That'd be great.
Will do.
I'm actually available that day. I might come just to kind of see how it's looking, but mostly if I wasn't on the broadband deployment board, I would do this in a heartbeat, but it's just that those meetings are often most of the day, and then they've been really frequent lately. So I just have to be careful. Everybody's going to think about it and come up with a good option.
Harry, as a point of scheduling, just keep in mind that Sustainability Advisory Board is also the first Wednesdays of the month.
Thank you for that reminder.
That's good. All right. Put this on. Okay, that takes us to
Resolution number 2212.
number 12. This is the resolution of the town council of Town of Ridgway amending the Town of Ridgway standard specification and typical drawings for infrastructure construction. Preston, are you going to give us the background on this?
Sir, so let me tell you a little story. So a couple months ago, you all will recall a resolution very similar to this one I think, with a whole list of changes to the town standards. Ms. Joanne Fagan, who was on the Zoom, has one more change to propose. Very, very small, and I would characterize as somewhat unsubstantive. The edit is to no longer allow bolts, nuts, and small miscellaneous hardware being stainless steel. And that's because our public works crew members are finding that stainless steel bolts are corroding due to saline soil conditions. Be straightforward there. And then there was just a addition of the word otherwise, clerical adjustment there. And say all that just, of course, but dropped a resolution for this one small change, which is why in the resolution before you, staff is requesting the authority to be able to approve what we would characterize as minor non-substantive changes to the standards going forward. So sorry about neglecting to do that before, but we didn't know this was coming. Again, all joking, Joanne, she's gonna be mad now probably, but just joking, Joanne, good catch. That's it.
Okay, that seems like a pretty straightforward change, and I'll go ahead and give people an opportunity to make comments both up here and in on Zoom, just because that's a good idea, but it seems pretty straightforward to me. Anyone up here have any concerns or anything?
I'll just add that Mike Jenkins gets the credit for noticing it.
Okay.
Just out of curiosity, if the stainless steel bolts corrode, what doesn't corrode?
Coated, epoxy coated core
Oh.
blue bolts.
I see. Thanks.
And in our recommendation here, it also approves that you can make these without coming back, these kind of changes. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah, it's written away. Yeah, again, ability to approve minor non-substantive amendments to the standards. Now, what's that threshold? I'm not quite sure, but I feel confident that we can understand what that threshold is. Bo can maybe opine on.
The goal is if we're changing, removing stainless steel bolts, we don't have to come back to the council.
Yeah, exactly. But if it's a type of pipe that we use for service lines or mains or something, that's kind of a big deal. I feel like so. Maybe not a great analogy, but
Yeah, the big bearing on the type of material and the cost is the same.
Sure. I hate to expose my nerdiness on this, but I know that through the supply chain issues, this has been a universal issue about stainless steel, and it's been based upon the percentage that's been reduced to in the use, and when people have seen it across the board. When I've gone to buy for non-commercial purposes, stainless steel, finding out that you can actually put a magnet to them and they
They're ferrous
they're
enough.
ferrous. And that's happened a lot in the last 3 years, and it was an article that I had read not too long ago. So they're not actually stainless, not the percentage, it's more of a percentage of a magnetic steel material.
This sounds like a conspiracy theory to me.
Hey, Terry, keep an eye on that stuff, because all the stuff you're promoting for the outside probably has a similar thing in the supply chain.
Right.
Good point. All right.
Okay, let me know if there's anything else I can help you with.
Thanks, Siri.
Thank you, tiny robot lady.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I love it. I think I already gave the public a chance to weigh in on this, but I doubt anybody has any comments. You can do it, Andrew, and yourself. Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion up there.
I move to go, Russ.
Go ahead, Molly.
Thank you. I move to approve the resolution number 22-12, a resolution to the town council of Ridgway, Colorado, amending the town of Ridgway standard specification and typical drawings for the infrastructure construction.
Second.
All right.
Thank you.
Motion by Polly, seconded by Russ. I love, yeah, opportunities to laugh like this. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Councilmembers Bramley,
Aye.
Crowder,
Aye.
Lakin,
Aye.
Skylar,
Aye.
Thomas,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Meyer.
Aye.
All right, passes unanimously. Andrea, thanks for coming. We are moving so fast tonight that we've already dealt with your item. So let me explain what we did. And actually, I welcome you to come on up and give us, I'm sure you were prepared to give us some background on your ask. So why don't you do that, and then I'll tell you what we decided.
Okay, great. So basically, a community land trust is meant to have a board that is split into thirds. A third being representatives of the tenants or the homeowners, basically, low income or modest income. And then a third being general community members, and then the final third being public representatives. So protecting public interest and public resources that they're being used for the community land trust. So we thought it would be a great idea to have a representative from each of the local governments, the town, the county, and the city, to join our board, particularly since you guys are providing us with financial support. You could provide, the oversight of those funds by joining the board and kind of keeping up on our financials, things like that. We had Josh Smith join our board for the city of Uray. He joined our December meeting. And we have Jake Neese as our county representative. And so we would love to have the town as well. And, I sent out a December newsletter kind of filling in some folks on what all's going on. But so just tallying some numbers, I just wanted to share with you guys because this is really, really cool. In the past 10 months, our organization has received over 200,000 in cash donations, over 300,000 in in-kind donations. Our board has fundraised over $22,000. We have secured $1,140,000 in grants and $390,000 in local government support. So to me, it just makes sense to have a representative from the town on our board. I feel like we're doing really well, we're going strong, and we would just love not just the oversight, but the involvement and the support. And because what I just said was actually a lot of that is from the community. So it's really important to us to have the community involved.
Great.
So.
Thanks. And you weren't here to hear me say it, but I sort of made mention of a couple of things that I've heard you guys have accomplished recently: the purchase of the property on Sherman Street, and
yes,
Terry had mentioned something. I can't remember what Terry mentioned.
They were just awarded yesterday a $10,000 grant from the SMPA Board Sharing Success Program.
Yes, I was going to mention that. And we got word last week that we are receiving $50,000 from the Gates Family Foundation for operating.
Awesome.
So
Sounds so great. So yeah, we talked about how supportive we are of what you're doing, the great work you're doing. The fact that we would love to have a council representative on the home trust. We're just not sure who that's going to be.
Okay.
So we need a little time. Jake weighed in as a member, said he would share an invite with Preston, told us the meeting schedule, told us generally the time committee. And I'm actually available that first Wednesday in January, so I'll probably try and attend.
Great.
But we'll get somebody appointed very soon. Everybody needs a little time to see what their brand is and what they can do.
Sure.
In the meantime, Preston and I will probably both come to that January board meeting.
The main sustainability advisory board.
Oh, right. Okay, that's.
We'll have representation.
We have some meeting overlap, so that's going to be the challenge, but we'll figure it out and we'll definitely get some.
Great.
Okay.
That's awesome news. Thank you.
All right. So thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Jane mentioned that it didn't necessarily have to be a council member.
That's
How about have you guys approached planning commission as well?
We have not.
Says, no, that'd be something to do from here, from here, we could do that. We can do that.
Sure. Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yep. Yep.
Kudos to all those accomplishments over the last 10 months.
Thanks.
You've crushed it.
Thanks. Trying.
You're doing more than trying, you're. All right,
Well, thanks, you guys.
thanks for being here.
Thank you.
All right, we got two more late ads. The next one is the letter of support for the Bruin Waste Management Compost Collection Route and Transfer to TXM. Preston,
Thank you, Mayor. Bruin Waste is proposing to implement a compost collection program for our region and a transfer to 3XM, the Class 3 composting facility in Olathe. Kind of a big deal, I think. The proposed service will allow for large-scale compost collection in our community. So letters of support are needed to supplement their funding application to CDPHE.
when I saw this come through this afternoon, I was like, yeah, this is awesome, really great. It just goes with everything we're trying to do, sustainability with it. And so glad to hear, so grateful to hear that Bruin is willing and able to step up for this. So I would urge council to support me writing this letter, and I probably would even edit it to be even a little more enthusiastic about it, because I just think it's an absolutely rocking idea.
My only question I have is, we have a Uray County community member who's been running a small scale composting business, and this
Dirty sturdies.
yeah, and wrapping, I mean, in so many ways, efficiency wise, this wraps it up with trash collection and that bit versus having another pickup day. But just, it's worth council being aware that we are impacting a local business with this decision as well.
That's a good point.
I mean, I don't necessarily think it means we don't support
Yeah,
moving forward, but
I think so too. I think, thank you for bringing that up, and I think it would warrant me writing a companion letter to Dirty Sturdies, telling them that we're doing this and thanking him for all his efforts over the years, but asking him to understand our interest in seeing this larger scale effort happen, and you know, basically just more than anything thanking him for his efforts to date. So thanks for mentioning it. It's a good point. Any other comments or questions?
I'll add a comment. Sorry to speak up so much, but I did speak with with Heather Knox, who contacted the county about this. And so this would not be for a curbside pickup. This would be for expansion of the Uray County transfer station. So people would still have to go up there and dump their compost up there, as opposed to Dirty Sturdies, who comes and picks it up curbside. So there's a little bit of differentiation there.
so actually, I was unaware that is there a charge at the transfer station for me to drop compost off? If I were to do that,
I don't think you could drop it off now,
okay, so
right?
would
This would be a new option for
Transfer.
transfer at the transfer station. Would it cost, though? I mean, Jake?
So all the details aren't out yet. Uray County offers the land, and then Bruin manages the transfer station. So those costs are up to Bruin. Right now, Bruin does have those big roll-off containers for green waste compost. That's just like grass clippings, branches, and stuff. And so what they would be doing is adding another closed container for food scraps, all other kinds of compostable material. I assume there would be a charge, but that was not specified, so I don't know.
I can say that over on this side, the HOA in the condo development does not offer recycling. So we will take our recycling up to the transfer station, and it is a fairly nominal fee. I think we had a full trash can and several large boxes of recycling, and I think it was about $5. I also just wanted to add that the EPA estimates that more food reaches landfills than on any other single material in our everyday trash. It constitutes about 24% of municipal solid waste. So it is such a great thing to be able to compost this and for the food to be turned back into soil to benefit our world. I know we all know that, but just I thought it should be said.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Polly. And I've actually heard other estimates elsewhere that say it's as much as 30%. So it's a huge deal. And that's why I was so enthusiastic about it. But thanks for sharing that. What's everybody think? Anybody on Zoom have any comments or questions about this item? Seeing none, how about up here?
I'm supportive of them. I mean, not to step on everybody's stories, but it sounds like there's gonna be options. You can go with
Yeah.
either one you want. Supportive of all efforts in that direction, so.
Yeah, based on Jake's comments, I think this is less competition for Kirby Sturdy than we thought.
Yeah.
And the more opportunities, the better. This kind of thing. So
I'm supportive.
we want to make a motion to approve my signing and submitting this letter to CDPHE.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made, Ryder, second by Terry. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Graham-Lee,
Aye.
Kroger. Kroger,
Sorry,
Lakin,
Aye.
Tyler,
Aye.
Thomas,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Meyer.
Aye. Thank you, Pastor Susan, for get that taken care of. We have one more late ad, and that's enterprise zone.
Request is for a letter of support for the Ridgway Chautauqua Society's application to Region 10's enterprise zone or Region 10's enterprise zone tax credits. And, I would say it's the same as it ever was. Similar letter approved last fall, maybe last December. I can't remember. And even the year before that.
Does everybody know what the enterprise zone is about? No. It's a state program where if you get designation as an enterprise zone project, and I believe you can only have enterprise zone projects in specific zones around the state, not necessarily anywhere in the state. But if you do get your project designated as an enterprise zone project, you are able to offer significant state tax deductions, bottom line deductions on state income tax. So if, for instance, if you make a $1,000 donation to an existing project, I think that it's our
The concert series has an enterprise zone.
the concert.
Yeah, it depends if you donate cash or in kind.
Right. So I was going to say cash donation gives you a 25% deduction from the bottom line of your taxes, which is a big deal. If it's in kind, it's 12 and a half. 12.5. So it's a really valuable thing to be able to offer potential donors to various projects. So it's a big deal. I know I was involved when Sherman first got there for the original Sherman project. And this is a secondary request. So it's for Weehawken, and is it just Ridgway Chautauqua Society that's asking for it? Okay. Any other questions? Questions, I should say. Any questions on Zoom? Somebody want to make a motion approving that request?
Move to approve the letter for Region 10 League with Economic Assistance and Planning, requesting an enterprise zone tax credits for Ridgway Chautauqua Society.
Second.
Motion made by Russ, second by Kevin. Roll call vote, please.
Council members Graham-Lee,
Aye.
Kroger,
Aye.
Lakin, Schuyler,
Aye.
Thomas,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Meyer.
Aye. Great, thank you. That passes unanimously. So that takes us through. Manager report, or a written report to me, report from various meetings, but why don't we first talk about the town manager report, another great report, Preston. Thank you. Anything you want to highlight?
I'll highlight just a couple things. John, Russ, you were at the planning commission meeting on November 29th. We had Katie and TJ present to give a great presentation on the work they've done to update or to make proposed updates to chapter 7, the Ridgway Municipal Code, Planning and Zoning. That meeting is on YouTube if you guys want to check it out. There's a link on the PDF version to their PowerPoint presentation for some additional context if you all would like. But from a personal standpoint, I'm very happy with where we're at with all that. There's a lot more work that needs to be done. Planning commissioners have until end of day Friday to provide any additional input, questions, feedback they have on the proposed updates, and some of that's already coming in. So, John, Russ, thanks for all your work on that. I know it's a long read and it's no small effort. So thank you very much.
It's only 160 pages.
Your county alerts went live a couple days ago. If you haven't already done so, make sure you go in and sign up for that. Signups from Code Red don't, in the way I understand it, don't just initially transition over to your county alerts. So make sure to go in and sign up if you want communications on critical safety information.
Kristen, I have a question for you. They've got your county alerts, and then there's two systems. Is there a difference in how they're being used? Because there's Code Red there's alerts, and then is it WENS? Like, isn't there two of them on the county site? And I can't figure out if they're just overlapping or two different systems. I have some questions about how, I don't know if you'd heard anything about how that worked.
No, yeah, WENS is
It's on the MOU. That's what it is.
right, but I trying to understand the scope, or trying to recall what the scope of WENS is, and how it differs from what the county was using, or what the region was utilizing Code Red for.
Yeah.
I thought it was something to do with law enforcement, wasn't it? The WEN system? The alert system?
It's emergency alert system that's run about two emergency and
Wireless emergency notification system, emergency management services, and emergency public telecommunications, repeater antenna management and repair.
So that's, oh, yeah.
Because I talked to Glenn about it last month.
Cool.
The WENS is like road closures, drive slow, there's ice. 351 because there's mudslides. Code Red, and now the alerts is like fire, evacuate, etc. And the goal is to eventually move everything onto the new, but for now, it's still gonna be WENS and Ray County.
So I need to email Glenn and say, if you message every time it snows, people are going to ignore your messages. Because today was not a particularly slick day. It was just a normal snow day.
No, it was bad going.
Was it? So then we also, maybe it might be worth mentioning north and south of the county, because literally I am going to start ignoring them. And I don't think I'm the only one.
I think some of us, the longer you've lived here, the more prepared you are for winter driving, and we can just ignore this. And of course, I think as we grow, if more people moving here from less snowy areas, I think it's a good idea.
But I think about the day last winter where it was black ice everywhere and I slid off the road and I watched like 3 other people slide off the road. Like, those are the days that we had like multiple sirens go off this year before I left for work. Like, those are the days that I want to see them.
I like how you refer to them as normal people moving here.
They're not normal.
Maybe they'll have a special class for you, Beth.
Thanks, Terry.
A couple more highlights. Town issued an RFP to provide engineering services for development review. You all will recall CCS, Joanne in particular, and her husband Ron, be transitioning away from the development review side of things, but staying on for more internal water and sewer related projects. So I'm thrilled to still have them on board in some capacity, but they are, I won't speak for Joanne, but I know she's very excited to transition away from development review side of things. And so looking forward to the proposals that come in for that. I think I had a date wrong for the next views meeting. Kevin, you might know this. Is it on the 20th or is it tomorrow?
I don't know.
Well, if anyone's interested, I think it's on the 20th.
Okay, because that was news to me when I saw the 15.
Yeah, so I had that on. So, a lot more information. Oh, the 2022 State of Recycling and Composting in Colorado report from EcoCycle has been issued. Colorado's recycling rate is still abysmal. Half the national average at 16%. I think that's what it was at last year. Very interesting. I haven't read through the full report. I was trying to at least skim it, but there's a lot of good information in there. When you all had approved the professional services agreement with Bo Nerlin for 2023, it would have been nice to have a condition in there that you laugh at my jokes.
It's ridiculous.
Would he charge us more for that?
Probably no doubt.
I'm not that cheap. I mean, I am an attorney.
That's all I got.
Was that your joke or did that come from someone else?
I feel like that should.
Police related joke.
I feel like that should.
So are you not taking credit for the joke that's in?
I'm taking credit. I'm not thrilled with it. I ran out of time. But just.
It was sure fine, Preston. It was just fine.
Yeah. Clearly, you don't consult with Bo on these things ahead of time, though.
Every now and again. Matter of fact, I did ask if he wanted to be featured. He declined.
I will continue to encourage anyone and everyone on staff or council or planning commission to submit jokes for the town manager report anytime.
Liz.
Okay. Thanks. Anybody have any other questions for Preston on town manager report? Anybody on Zoom have any questions?
Big report.
And
I do have one quick question. Any updates on planning as far as applicants?
We do have an application that TJ and I have to get to and vet essentially. So, but yeah, not a lot to choose from as it relates to the applications for either the town planner or the senior planner position. And it's been like that for quite some time.
so we just had the one application, one current.
One, yeah, two actually.
Oh,
I get to get into details, but
okay. I'll keep us posted. I'm available for interviews with the gentleman.
Thank you.
Preston, where do we leave it with the Youth Advisory Council? What's the status that I've sort of lost track? Is it abandoned for the year or?
No, certainly not abandoned. And coincidentally, John and I met with River Randolph, one of the two applicants yesterday, to talk about his interests, see how the school year is going for him. He's in his senior year and it's flying by, of course. Again, chatted about his interests, really trying to pinpoint what we can do, given that we can't follow the same structure we have for the last few years. And so we talked about some opportunities like ride-alongs, tours. He was going to go back and give it some thought and let us know some other things he'd be interested in to see how we might be able to help him pursue those interests. We highlighted how we're always available for letters of recommendations, as it's a very important time in his life as he's submitting applications to college, things like that. Maybe there were some other pieces to that conversation, John, but that was a great meeting, and we're just gonna have to adapt and do with youth council what we have to do with it in 2022, 2023.
Yeah, we talked about how it actually is gonna end up being a great deal for River and Jonathan, is there his name?
Jonathan.
Who's been injured, but hopefully will be able to join us. Because we're gonna be able to do more creative things with those guys that in the past with a large group and doing a formal council meeting format. And we can do some more creative stuff with these guys. So should end up being okay.
River's excited.
Yeah.
He's motivated and excited.
Yeah.
Cool. River runs through it, I guess.
Was that your effort as a joke?
I'm putting you all on a notice that I'm gonna start finding you for these jokes.
That requires administration, though.
All right, anybody have any reports on any of their committees?
Oh, Preston, I hear there's a couch that's coming down to Space to Create tomorrow afternoon. Will you be available to open that door about 3, 4 o'clock? Or potentially I meet up with you to get a key or something like that.
Yeah, I can just give you my key, sure. I will be around. Actually, Terry and I will be meeting at that. So one of us should be available. But is that the couch being donated by?
Yes.
Very good piece of furniture for
Right.
community room. Yeah.
And to kind of follow up with that question, hopefully everybody was able to make it out on Noel night and saw how great the Space to Create community room looks with light and art and stuff.
It's fabulous.
I think that was awesome.
And it's still set up with art with a sign asking people to call. I think maybe my number if they want to have a private tour. Cool. Just because we thought it would be great to lose some of that, show people what it's gonna look like going forward. Regularly. So yeah, it was great. Really exciting to see it activated.
Yeah.
I thought I'd just do a quick report. Region 10 board had its last meeting of the year last week. I think I forwarded you guys emailed you a screenshot of one of the graphs from their housing needs study that they did, which had unbelievable numbers on what the percent of AMI you need to buy a median home.
That was mine.
And I'm prepared to just make a note to send you that whole PowerPoint from that group that did the housing needs study for Region 10, covering all the counties in Region 10. And just I thought it was a great example of the incredible work that Region 10 does year in, year out. I mean, we have so much to thank them for in terms of the broadband that's been implemented throughout the region in the last 5-10 years. It's an amazing group and they have an amazing staff. They're about to start an expansion of their building downtown, so they'll have a bigger meeting room, better sound, better acoustics, more space. Michelle, what am I trying to blank on her last name? Executive Director of Region 10.
Oh, Michelle
Haynes, that's right. She does an amazing job. And like I say, her staff is just incredible. So just want to make sure I gave them a shout out. Anyone else have anything from their committee reports or anything? No? Okay, wow, this is rapid fire meeting. Thanks, everybody. Unless anybody has anything else, I will declare it adjourned.
Great. Everybody have a good holiday. If I don't see
Yeah,
you before.
holidays. Feel better, you guys. Yeah. See you
Thanks.
all.
Happy holidays, guys.
Good night.
Tea with,
Russ.
Thank you, Pam.
tea with honey, Polly, right? Lemon.
I think I've had
Yeah, there's
might want